Sex Science. Every woman's astrological and psychological guide to love, men, sex, anger, and personal growth. New edition, new and revised edition, Judith Bennett. Sex Science, copyright 1980 by Judith Bennett. Revisions 1996 by Janet Kothus. To Z, without whose love and understanding, encouragement and support this book could not have been written. And my patient children, Anina and Nikki, who fill my life with joy and from whom I have learned a great deal, and my good friend Gerald Bourne, whose sage advice I cherish. Contents. Introduction to revised edition. Aries woman. Checklist of Aries traits. Aries personality. Aries relationships. Aries sexuality. Aries anger. Aries lifestyles. Summing up Aries. Taurus woman. Taurus woman. Checklist of Taurus traits, Taurus personality, Taurus relationships, Taurus sexuality, Taurus anger, Taurus lifestyles, summing up. Summing up Taurus. Summing up Taurus. Gemini woman. Checklist of Gemini traits. Gemini personality. Gemini relationships. Gemini sexuality. Gemini anger. Gemini lifestyles. Summing up Gemini. Cancer woman. Checklist of Cancer traits. Cancer personality. Cancer relationships. Cancer sexuality. Cancer anger. Cancer lifestyles, summing up Cancer. Leo woman, checklist of Leo traits, Leo personality, Leo relationships, Leo sexuality, Leo anger, Leo lifestyles, summing up Leo. Virgo woman, checklist of Virgo traits, Virgo personality, Virgo relationships, Virgo sexuality, Virgo anger, Virgo lifestyles, summing up Virgo. Libra woman, checklist of Libra traits, Libra personality, Libra relationships, Libra sexuality, Libra anger, Libra lifestyles, summing up Libra. Scorpio woman, checklist of Scorpio traits, Scorpio personality, Scorpio relationships, Scorpio sexuality, Scorpio anger, Scorpio lifestyles, summing up Scorpio. Sagittarius woman, checklist of Sagittarius traits, Sagittarius personality, Sagittarius relationships, Sagittarius sexuality, Sagittarius anger, Sagittarius lifestyles, summing up Sagittarius. Capricorn woman, checklist of Capricorn traits, Capricorn personality, Capricorn relationships, Capricorn sexuality, Capricorn anger, Capricorn lifestyles, summing up Capricorn. Aquarius woman, checklist of Aquarius traits, Aquarius personality, Aquarius relationships, Aquarius sexuality, Aquarius anger, Aquarius lifestyles, summing up Aquarius. Pisces woman, checklist of Pisces traits, Pisces personality, Pisces relationships, Pisces sexuality, Pisces anger, Pisces lifestyles, summing up Pisces. The cosmic woman, checklist of cosmic traits, cosmic personality, cosmic relationships, cosmic sexuality, cosmic anger, cosmic lifestyles, summing up the cosmic woman. Introduction to Revised Edition. The original manuscript for this book was a parting gift from Judith Bennett to her friends and the many women she counseled in therapy. Judith died suddenly and tragically when she plane that was taking her on a pre-publication publicity trip exploded over O'Hare Airport in 1980. A group of close friends and colleagues gathered to finish the editing of Judith's notes and assembled the portions of the manuscript in need of completion. Sex Science was originally published in the United States in 1980. Since that time, it has been published in Great Britain, Australia, and New Zealand, and has been translated for publication in France, Spain, Holland, Italy, Japan, and many countries in Latin America. Its record sales in the United States over the past 2 decades have prompted this revised edition. Sex Science is a book that celebrates women's personal and sexual freedom, the world of intimate relationships has expanded dramatically since 1980. However, to include health and safety issues unimaginable at the time this book was first published. While supporting the spirit of freedom and choice in women's sexuality, this revised edition addresses the issues of intimacy women face today. The power of Judith Bennett's Sex Science lives on in its clarity, insight, and intelligence. We hope this revision will offer its readers an enhanced awareness of the power and freedom of choice as we enter the century to come. Introduction. I'm a therapist who has spent a decade helping women in a variety of ways. As founder and president of the Life Crisis Counseling Clinic and of the Flexible Careers Counseling Center, both in Chicago and both concerned with helping people in the areas of relationships, sexuality, and health, as a sexologist currently studying for a PhD in human sexuality, and as a teacher who has taught people around the world about love and intimacy, self-esteem, assertiveness, awareness, sexuality, and how to use anger and power constructively. I am also a professional astrologer who has studied various astrological approaches, Jungian, dream analysis, numerology, palmistry, handwriting analysis, and tarot cards, all for the purpose of helping my clients and satisfying my own curiosity. I am a senior editor of Forum, the International Journal of Human Relations. In this capacity, I receive over 50,000 letters a year from readers who wish to share their personal lives. I was born in Hungary on April 13, 1944, and was educated abroad and in the United States. I am a graduate of the University of Chicago and the mother of 2 children, a girl and a boy. Shortly after establishing the Life Crisis Counseling Clinic, I received a phone call from a psychiatrist. He wanted to refer a suicidal patient to me for a psychoastrological consultation. I accepted the client, but with serious misgivings. After all, it was a grave responsibility, and I would only get one crack. I'll have to do better than my best, I told myself. Usually, I hold a dialogue with my clients, and each session takes an hour to an hour and a half. Session takes an hour to an hour and a half. Each psychoastrology client receives a tape of our session and is free to call back at any time. So far, I have never received a single call to tell me I had given the wrong advice, but I have had many telling me the session helped. This woman came to the session pale, withdrawn, and depressed. Her session took just 40 minutes because she was very quiet. To say she said little would be an understatement. To say she said little would be an understatement. I plunged ahead, speaking as clearly and positively as I could, trying to convince her of the conclusion I'd reached by studying her chart, that her crisis period would come to an end within 4 months. I remember telling her that I felt it was a test of her strength and love of life. I remember describing my belief that crises are actually our greatest learning times, springboards to evaluation and happiness if we cope well. I repeated that I felt her crisis specifically tested her courage. She had somehow, with the help of her subconscious, set herself the task of living without a family or a man to lean on. Mentally, she believed she was independent, but her emotions were resisting. Fear of the future and self-pity were all she seemed to feel. I remember cautioning her not to expect that the world would help her out, but I stressed that in just 4 months, if she persisted, there would probably be a great opportunity for a new job and a romance. I told her, too, that nothing was likely to happen if she hid in her room, though the coming opportunities were indicated in her chart. She had the free will to accept or deny them. Very gently, I tried to get her to accept the fact that we are really in charge of our own lives. If we accept the existence and importance of our subconscious, if we listen to our dreams and inner voices, we'll find a hidden purpose in just about everything that happens to us. There are no coincidences, in my opinion, and her fears and depressions had come to teach her something important. They would pass. I could not tell if she really listened or if the taped reading would help her. Usually my clients leave me feeling high. The point of my readings has always been to shed new light and bring fresh awareness into a person's life, past, present, and future. Greater self-knowledge eventually produces greater harmony and better relationships. I do not predict the future. I predict probable patterns of human behavior. I predict the probable effects of current planetary cycles on a person's life, at the same time stressing free choice and individual responsibility. I engage my clients in a dialogue, reviewing the best possible choices open to them. In my conclusions, as in this book, my aim is to help the client sort out what is best for her. In the above instance, staying home might have denied this woman her opportunity. It would have been unproductive behavior, and I pointed this out. I finished the consultation, as I always do, with a practical, tailor-made how to cope segment, which is always well received. When this particular client left, however, I was very concerned, for all I knew, she might kill herself the same day. Yet my intuition told me to remain optimistic. I would hear from her again. About 6 months later, I began to receive requests for psychoastrological consultations from a group of women who seemed to know one another. I finally figured out that the initial contact had come from my depressed lady. Apparently, she was alive. Almost a year later, she called me back. I have never forgotten the conversation, which went something like this. "Hi, do you remember me? I came to see you about a year ago. I was awfully depressed." I told her I not only remembered her but had thought of her often, hoping that the job and romance had come through and had given her the boost to start living again. She then continued, "Everything you said on the tape has come true. When the time came, I forced myself to go out and be in places where I could meet people. I was very skeptical that what you told me would really happen. But when I got a new job offer out of the blue, I decided I might as well go all the way and try the romance department." Believe it or not, I met a man I am living with now. It's a good relationship, my job is fine, and I am a new person. I want to thank you, and I want you to know that I carry the tape of that session with me in my purse. I've also told many people about you. I thanked her for letting me know, and I leaned back and closed my eyes. This was clear confirmation of my method. Psychoastrology combined with my knowledge of therapy and sexuality has been helpful even in the hardest cases, even in just one session. Since then, there have been hundreds of instances where the technique has given more meaning and hope to people's lives. Let me state my position. Succinctly. Let me state my position succinctly. Planets do not rule destiny. People rule their own destinies, and they do so most effectively when cognizant of a universal rhythm. Universal rhythm. Through years of experience, I learned to refine psychoastrology into a unique tool for self-development. Its validity as a use, it has been proven to me over and over again. The women in my sessions relaxed quickly when they heard that others with similar charts had also had problems and had overcome them. They learned some new things. They made important choices. They gained more faith in the order of things. They came away more prepared for their own rules, actions and reactions, and for the events that might befall them. Many began to develop a belief system that relieved prolonged agonizing and helped them to gain detachment from the pettiness of their all too human egos. In the course of our sessions, we concluded that life is not the meaningless, chaotic thing it may seem when one is confused, angry, or depressed. In the course of our sessions, we concluded that life is not the meaningless, chaotic thing it may seem when one is confused, angry, or depressed. Anger and depression can be confronted, and what's more, there are ways to build on the knowledge gleaned from such episodes. Life can be seen as a constant challenge and a gift. And life may be one step on a ladder or reincarnation. Each step with a purpose of its own, each containing a lesson in love and in relating, each accompanied by struggle. Albert Einstein once said, "God does not play with the dice. God doesn't play with dice." It seems he had the same idea of the regularity, purpose, and order of the universe and of our lives in it. Perhaps the most important thing to come out of my consultations has been my client's perception of the value of change. Most people who came to see me were suffering from aftershock or future shock, a bad laugh of fear, illness, loss, fears of going out, getting a job, having a baby, moving to another city, getting married, getting divorced. Change was always the ogre. Change was always the ogre, or so it seemed. What underlies most fear of change is ignorance and lack of self-trust. Recognizing this, I shared with my clients some of my own fears and how I had overcome them. I suggested they make a risk list to learn how often they had already taken risks and succeeded. The risk list became one of the most popular exercises in brackets. See Taurus relationships. It is my belief that change is natural and in the long run probably beneficial. How we cope with change determines much of the quality of our lives. I asked those who came to see me to tell me what they feared the most, and it usually turned out to be something they could live with. Self-esteem was another major stumbling block. I gave clients a reading list and suggestions on growth seminars. I advised them how to improve their self-images and body language. I gave clients material and practice exercises on communication skills, including sexual communication. I bolstered their confidence by pointing out all of the richness and good qualities inherent in their chart, reminding them of the wisdom they had already accumulated simply by living. I was able to help most of them to at least recognize, if not choose immediately, the road that would lead them to give up their most binding fears. I did all this with the help of psychoastrology. Just about everything I taught and everything I learned from my clients in a decade of therapy is in this book. Let me tell the reader about sex science. It is a psychoastrology guide to female potential, health, and happiness, and it explores areas beyond the scope of other astrology books. It deals specifically with women, delving into the hidden world of female psychology, sexuality, anger, fear, guilt, power, struggles, and changing needs. It teaches the reader how to find love. Love consists not in finding the right person, but in becoming the right person. Love consists not in finding the right person, but in becoming the right person. Sex science rejects predetermination or predestination, as well as the strict use of sun science. Sex science is a breakthrough book, a dramatic, unique marriage of astrology, psychology, and female sexuality. It goes directly to the point most relevant to today's woman, how she can develop awareness of herself, become attuned to the universal planetary rhythms that affect her, and obtain a key to her own love and power. The only things not included in sex science are individual forecasts. Each person has her or his own unique chart, but such analyses are not within the scope of this book. Instead, I have devised a way to blend and compress that kind of personal information into psychoastrological female portraits. You will find in this book 13 different types of women, 12 corresponding to the signs of the zodiac, plus one more, the cosmic woman, the lady who really has it all together. The reader can first read the chapter that describes her sun sign, or she can read a checklist of 35 personality traits that appears at the beginning of each chapter, and choose the one that best describes her regardless of whether it matches her sign. Almost every astrology book these days is based solely on sun signs. At parties, one often hears, "Hi, what sign are you?" "I am Leo." But over the years, many women have come to me saying, "I've read the description of Leo, Virgo, Libra, etc., and it does not fit. What's wrong with me?" My response is an emphatic nothing. Sun sign descriptions seldom work. They are too simplistic and general to provide important information or real insight. They also offer no way out of the rut. They also offer no way out of the rut of a supposedly permanent character. The main reason I have based sex science on blended astrological portraits and not on sun signs, in brackets, or moon signs, or any other specific planetary influence, is that I feel a woman must be liberated from the view that her sun sign is her character cast in stone. A Gemini reader may identify most with the description of the Aries woman. Should she discard the information, scratch her head in confusion, or put herself down for being a bad Gemini? I say the variable choice of who she is and will be is hers. I want a woman to be bound by the inflexible, stereotypical thinking stereotypical thinking promulgated by sun sign enthusiasts. The reader need not know astrology to learn from this book. Her role model may be the Aries woman, the Gemini woman, or the Pisces woman, regardless of her sun sign, as she herself decides. And as explained later in this chapter, in brackets, see phases. She may find that she is going through a phase accurately described by one chapter, whereas a few years back she was quite a different woman. Her old self may be portrayed in another chapter